not like fancy strategies or micro or anything. The key to PvP is in fact building placement, guys. All you need to be good at PvP is to make beautiful gateways, and your life will be wonderful. I also had another good thing. Oh, I guess we should talk about, like, yeah, as you were saying, we should talk about the teams and stuff. So, you know, CJ or KT's number 1, CJ's number 2, blah 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 blah. That's actually like all I have to say about that. Huh.
Before anything serious gets going on in the game, if you are playing against KT roster, do you want to put your best player up against Flash or your worst player up against Flash?
Worst.
And just
Absolutely. Send a sacrifice and win 3 of the other games. It's like there's no point wasting a top player against Flash. It's like, you know.
Well, what about efforts? I think efforts on a 4-game winning streak versus Flash, because after the Korean Air OSL, they played one more time, and that was in like the group stages of an MSL, I believe, and
but it's
effort won.
I mean,
so
the thing, the issue is
let that ride, right?
The thing though is you have to consider is the question isn't do I have a player that can beat Flash. The question is, like, in terms of the overall series, how do I maximize my chance of winning 3 out of 5 games? So let's say I have a player who can take 40% of his games off of Flash, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
That means he probably has like a 90% chance to beat somebody else. I'm going to use him to get the 90% guaranteed win, and I'm not going to risk him against Flash. Why would I use such a guaranteed win in another match for a 40% chance to beat Flash? I'll just throw the game, get my free win off that guy, and then try and get 2 other wins. Because the rest of the KT line, I mean, stats, okay, is pretty good nowadays, but the rest of the KT line is not particularly scary. So, I mean, just from a coaching perspective, just from a I want to win the whole series rather than snipe this particular player perspective, you know, I think it's better to just throw a random scrub at Flash.
Alright, if your statistics were valid, if I felt that they were valid, I would completely agree with you. But these guys don't have effort doesn't have a 90% chance of beating any given player. It's like a set 65 to, let's say 65% chance of beating any given player, which is really, really good. But like, if he has a 40% chance of beating Flash and you start,
but he doesn't though. He has like a 2% chance of beating Flash.
4-game win streak, man. 4-game win streak versus Flash. I don't know when's the last time that happened. Probably like Stork or Jaedong in 2008 or 2007.
That guy's pretty
that's
cool.
Just a guess off the top of my head. So Mind actually opening with a rather old school style of factory before command center. And what do you think of this? Putting early pressure on Harangue? Do you think Harangue? Do you think he's going to be able to handle this?
What? Just like from this FD?
Yeah. I don't know. Of course he is, but
yeah.
Do you think it's a good decision in the current metagame to not go 15cc?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like, Mind, the only game I remember him playing this season is against Jaedong, so I really don't know about his TVP now or, like, anytime. I just haven't watched many of his games ever. So no comments. No comments. That's right, I'm a commentator, but I have no comment on Mind. So, Harangue's gonna 1-gate expand. Interestingly...
Well, alright, let me tell you about something about Mind. Back in 2007, he was really good at Terran versus Protoss. He won an MSL, like, during Bisu's reign of dominance, beating Bisu in the finals with, like, some really, really crisp timing attacks. But those timing attacks have been 100%, like, figured out by now. So the same ones won't work against Harangue, but he like, I don't know, maybe he has a chance. If you were ever at the stage to beat Bisu at his peak, then you should have a chance against someone, against Harangue, obviously in Terran versus Protoss, not Protoss versus Protoss.
I do actually have an interesting point about Harangue's pylon placement, though. If any other Protoss player did that placement, I'd say it's not very good, but since it's Harangue, I can't really say that his build placement is bad. That's just, like, not a good idea. But I mean, he stacked 2 of his pylons next to each other below his nexus, and he put the other one directly in the top right corner of his base, as if he was a Terran player, and is just massing his supply buildings in one corner, which doesn't really make sense to me. I usually like spreading out my early pylons just so I get maximum power and vision all over my main, but I guess he knows exactly how his base is going to look anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
We're going to talk about how great Harangi's building placement is. I know you love him so much, so I just want to go ahead and point out that his Nexus placement on his natural expansion is just picture perfect. You cannot place a Nexus any better than that.
Nice, nice. It's brilliant. And, well, I guess, you know, also to answer your earlier question, it looks like Harangi's held off the pressure just fine. He's also getting
and he's actually
Reavers.
Yeah, and he put that pylon in the very top right so that he could kind of put his support bay in a maybe unnoticed. Like, you don't scan there. Like, that's not where you would expect tech to be. Tech's either going to be in a place where there's more space. Like, there's not even enough room there to put arbiter tech. So, like, it's possible that Mind will never scan that. So it could be that these Reavers are a complete surprise, and I actually really like that. It's like hiding it in plain sight. You don't scan right on top of his Nexus because you know what you're going to find there, a Nexus and probe. So, like, that's probably in the base the least likely place to be scouted.
That's interesting.
Harangi is brilliant with building placement. We've settled it.
Indeed, we have.
And
you just have to look hard. If you can't figure out why he's doing it, you're clearly just not looking hard enough.
Oh, is he going to fly right over the mine? No, it looks like it is just barely going to be out of the vision. No, he turns around. Mines have tiny vision, so that's going to be really close.
Oh, he sees it.
I think Mines have a range of 2 vision, or like 1. It's like really small, but I think that might just be inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's pulling back all his units.
Yeah, he's prepared. He's completely prepared. Uh-oh. And there's actually enough Marines left over that...
Shataru! Oh my god, losing all the shields instantly, but oh, he's going to the natural. What does he actually have in it? Looks like 2 Zealots and a Reaver, and come on, get the shot, get the shot! What?
He gets some splash damage on no
That is
direct hits.
BS. There was nothing to glitch that Scarab. How did that not go off? Oh! Looks like you're like a couple of seconds ahead of me.
Yeah, I'll pause for like 2 seconds, sorry.
Oh, the shuttle goes down! Oh my god.
And he's following it up with carriers! This is insane.
Harangi, what have you done? Harangi, guys, if you needed any more, after seeing that shuttle micro, you don't need any more evidence that I am in fact Harangi. Like, we're both amazing at PvP, we both have amazing gateway placement, and we're both god-awful with Reavers. I mean, what else can I say? I guess I'm the Tiger Toss. My Smurf has been revealed. I'm doing like that shrug emote in real life right now. It's like so good. So sad you guys can't see. Anyways.
Oh, I'll type it into chat if you want.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I actually learned the alt code for the like little smiley face thing. It's alt 12484. Although like you can only type it into certain things for some reason, because it's a Japanese character. So anyway, this is a really stupid and questionable decision by Harangi to go for carriers. That's like the least logical follow-up possible. You just did no damage and got yourself way behind, and it's probably going to get scouted pretty well, especially because Harangi has no units out, and mine's going to be like, I wonder why he has no units out. And then I'm a Terran, so I have comsat stations, and I scan, and it's like, oh, I'll get Goliaths up in plenty of time. And considering Mind is a player that, like, goes by upgrade timings a lot, he's almost definitely going to have an armory. Like Mind is probably going to get an armory more often and earlier than most other Terran players because he likes to hit on, like, as soon as +2 finishes, and he likes to get an early +2, for example. And wow, those Dragoons are so lucky walking right by that mine. Oh no, it's nice.
To be fair, though, I think Harangi had already gone into the carrier route before that shuttle died. So,
yeah, he did.
I mean, like, he was assuming he'd be able to do a little bit more harassment. I mean, you know, going for a quick Reaver into carrier transition is not unheard of. I mean, you know, players do that.
Yeah, because you're not along the path to Templars, so
Yeah.
you might as well get carriers.
Exactly, but it's just unfortunate that his shuttle and Reaver just didn't do anything, and he might. If he loses it again, oh my god! All right, looks like he's gonna get away. Luckily, because Goliath range isn't done yet, or rather, it's not even started. It looks like, because apparently Mind has not seen the carriers just yet, so this might still work.
He's getting his third, so he's going to be on a really good economy. Oh, he's going to reveal them with 2? They're flying by the engineering bay right now.
Wow, what the heck?
This is so questionable. So, oh wait, Karen Boosters just finished actually when they flashed over,
okay.
so that was a really awkward observer timing. It's their fault, not ours, for once.
Dude, it's always
and
their
that was
fault.
actually-
It's never my fault.
He actually, like, that was bad carrier micro too, because he didn't attack anything to get the interceptors all out. So we actually got to watch in a pro match interceptors deploy one at a time, which is just sad too.
I mean, you know, the standard, what is it, the standard wisdom? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but basically, you know, the magic number of carriers is 4. You're not supposed to reveal until you have 4 carriers. If you go with 2, it's not very effective, you can't do that much, and then the Terran's prepared. Now, on the flip side, Mind did, you know, take that third that's expanding towards Harangi. So maybe he just thought he could, you know, just go super early and try and abuse, like, the ridiculously early carriers, but yeah, not looking so hot for Harangi now. And I mean, he's getting his 3 o'clock up, but even bases, PVT, and also in these horizontal positions, I really dislike this for PVT on this map. So Harangi needs to do
so
something.
Many Goliaths out already.
Yeah.
Is Harangi just making these 2 carriers and then he realized, no, he's still going? I thought like maybe he was going to realize, oh, carriers are a really bad decision. My opponent already has 27 Goliaths out. Maybe I should stop and then like go mass gateway and maybe get something done. Like take his opponent by surprise, having way too many Goliaths and not enough tanks. Because there is like a delicate balance if you're actually
there's no defense
not
in the
way
natural.
behind.
Debo is not gonna drop. Oh
That's
wait, no,
such an
no.
awkward placement to put
Dude,
it.
shoot,
Did it
shoot.
even have a scarab on it? Was it just empty?
What?
Did you just drop an empty Reaver? Like, why did that get off a shot? I'm seriously concerned with Harangi's well-being. Does he need a hug? Is he gonna be okay?
Guys,
He's like,
I'm sorry, my Reaver micro is terrible. What can I say?
oh, oh yeah, I forgot. Well, actually, the hypothesis that this is you is actually looking like, well, I mean, like, not that you're bad or anything, but I'm sure this is how you, about how, like, how well
Not that you're
Mind
bad,
is
but you play like you're bad.
It's not that you're bad, you just aren't a pro gamer residing in Korea, so it's impossible to be good.
Nice, nice.
So, like, Harangi's on even bases, and, oh, this is funny, like, he managed to bait the Zealot forward. He's gonna lose all 3 of those vultures, but, actually doing decent damage, getting a probe in the Zealot for free, that he shouldn't have gotten. And those carriers are so poorly positioned. There are a couple of Dragoons and Zealots, but like, really, it's like kind of a balancing act. Like you want the right number of carriers and Dragoons, and your opponent wants the right number of tanks and Goliaths. Like tanks to deal with the Dragoons and Goliaths to deal with the carriers. But it's so much harder for the Protoss to hit the right balance because carriers come out so slow, so you're always a little bit behind. And like the upgrading battle, the longer it goes on, the better it is for the Terran player, and you really need to get damage done, and mine's gotten absolutely no damage done, and is just losing ground. Like, this push is coming across the map, it's already at the halfway point, and there's not enough Dragoons to deal with the Goliaths. There's way too many tanks buffering for them, and the carriers, there's so many Goliaths, the carriers can't even get into snipe tanks. This is, like, tragic, almost.
He's got a decent number of Zealots as well, though, and there's no Vultures and Spider Mines in good positions, but it looks like, as you said, there's just a little bit too much stuff for Mine. He's rolling down here, and I mean, you know, these horizontal positions, I'm telling you, it's imbalanced. Like, there's no good flanking position for Harangi right now. He's just getting pushed back to his natural. He's just pulling back further and further, just trying to mass enough units to break this, but I don't think it's going to happen. Looks like he's going to commit now. Going in, decent timing while the tanks were sieging up, but just not enough. Although, actually, no, it looks like maybe it is now enough. The Zealots closing with everything, and actually, Harangi holds just keeping his units back till the last possible second, and all his Dragoons are down, but the Zealots and Carriers are going to clean up, and actually, that might be a little bit difficult for Mind now to deal with this, having lost so many Goliaths, but no, looks like Harangi is going to pull back with the Carriers. Looks like an unrallied gateway there, and look at that beautiful, beautiful gateway placement.
I think he's got room for like 2 more pylons to make it picture perfect, but it's getting there. It's really cute right now.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, well, he's not going to overcommit on pylons that he doesn't need yet. Like, he's not running into a supply cap or anything, so he doesn't need those yet. So, like, it's perfect. We see 1 Marine out. Is that still left over from the way beginning of the game? The Carriers trying, like, this is a good third base to harass with Carriers in theory. There's just so many Goliaths that it doesn't really seem possible, and Harangi's trying to take a 4th. Do you mind if I talk about how disappointed I am? Uh-oh, Harangi's building placement sucks. What do you have to say about yourself now?
Dude, no. Whenever you have amazingly placed gateways, that always happens. That always happens to me. I can vouch for Harangi. That's one of the unfortunate side effects of having beautiful gateways, is that the probes, while they're passing by, you know, to transfer to a new base, they simply stop and look at the wonder that is the gateway pylon arrangement. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, whenever there's a traffic accident on the highway, like, you know, the reason, you know, there's traffic jams, it's not because it's like actually causing problems on the highway. It's just because everybody slows down while they're driving by, just so they can, you know, ogle the wrecked car or whatever.
We're clicking on these Carriers, and they all have like 2 or fewer interceptors.
That's cool. That worked for Jangbi. It probably is good anyway.
Okay, it looks like the ones in the back had more, but there were like the leading 3 Carriers all had 0. DT's actually coming out. That's a nice transition. I want to go on a tangent and talk about how good Harang is at Arbiters and how disappointed I am that he didn't go Arbiters. He played against Reality, who's a very good up-and-coming Terran player, and did a recall of purely Zealots directly onto the Terran army, which was like so effective and really isn't a way that most players are using their Arbiters for. Like, they use either harassment.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh my god, that was such a big probe transfer.
Oh god.
Oh dear god, no, that was like so many probes. That's terrible. And look at that, 2-2 upgrades. Mind is beautiful with upgrades. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Very, very crisp with his upgrades. And 3-3 is probably going to hit any time now.
That's what happens when you stop to look at an accident on the highway. You just cause more accidents. All those probes blew themselves up. Oh no! Why are the Carriers in the middle of the map? Where's the ground army? What is going on? Harangi! Harangi, stop being bad! Oh, Harangi! That Carriers do not go there, man.
Carriers do not go in the middle of the map. At close positions, it's a fine map for Carriers. The 3rd is actually like, if you draw it up, people would be like, oh yeah, the 3rd looks good for Carriers. But the middle of the map, no! And Harangi just made the huge mistake of getting caught in the middle of the map with all his Carriers, instantly losing a bunch. And I think like that, plus all the probes he lost, he's now down on economy and down in the like tug of war of like armies. So I don't like. Maybe some good DTs or maybe a hidden expo, but it's going to be hard for him to come back in this game because he just took 2 big hits right one after another.
God,
and
losing more probes. And he is just going for the counterattack now. He's got a few I-Templar, maybe get some good storms off, but Mine just has so much stuff. He's just going to come back and defend, just going to crush through everything.
And he's done too.
This is actually really good though, because I mean, you know, Harangi, he's not engaging the army straight up. He's just kind of poking back and forth. But it looks like Mine also though, playing very, very smartly, not going to just send everything back, going to leave about a control group of units here to siege down the space anyway. So I mean, even though the counterattack, the threat of the counterattack did force most of the Terran army back, Harangi's still probably going to lose his base. Oh my God, losing all of the probes again. He's probably got no probes left. But that's okay, because his gateways look really nice.
Let's have a brief discussion about upgrades. This is why like the carrier goon loses in the long run, or one of the reasons is that like you can't keep it upgraded. Her mind is at 3-3, beautiful. He's got the most powerful army in StarCraft Group where you could possibly get 3-3 mech. And Harangi's, I think he's got +2 attack for air, 1 shields, and no upgrades out of the forge.
Oh, nice storm.
Like, it's just not looking pretty. The first storm was decent, the second storm kind of a whiff. And he's like backed up into a corner and behind 50 supply. This is looking bad.
Yeah, he's pretty much dead.
Oh,
And there's the
time.
GG. Ho! See? I mean, I'm harangue. Like, I played this game. I knew when I GG'd.
You look really sad after that game. How
I
you
was
feeling
very
now?
sad. I was like, man, I know I'm bad with Reavers and Carriers, so why did I go Reaver into Carrier? It's not a good idea.
Were you just mad that you didn't get a Protoss versus Protoss?
I was very upset that I had to play a devious little Terran. See, look how sad I am. I need a pretty
Oh.
fangirl to come over and give me a hug.
It's okay. You're still having a pretty good season.
Am I?
No, not really. I'm trying to make you feel better.
Wow, that's harsh, man. That's harsh.
Well, you lost to Flash, so that doesn't really count. And
Exactly.
But you lost to Jaehoon.
Hey, man, that
right-
guy 10-15 gated me. That was dirty.
Okay. So next game. Oh, speaking of Protoss versus Protoss, Stats versus Snow. Awesome. So I just want to point out something. Can you actually, at the beginning of the game, like, or turn your volume up, like during the countdown to the game? Because there's one guy who screams for CJ Entis so loud and so enthusiastically. It's like you've watched a million Brood War games, and like they all start with the same cheers. This
Yeah.
is like the exception to